Please subscribe.
The uplifting news: the fifth era of the Kia Optima is a major jump forward in looks and tech. The awful news, possibly, is that the progressions are sufficiently radical to warrant a name change to K5, the name utilized in Korea and different pieces of the world. We went to Korea for the primary drive of the average-size vehicle that is the most popular nameplate in the Kia lineup in the US after the astounding Soul. The K5 is going at a bargain in Korea now. For the US, we need to trust that the vehicle will hit sellers. There ought to be some on parcels by July. The presentation GT will pursue later in the year. Which implies there is still time to choose the name, however very little. It is K5 in Korea and China and has generally been Optima in North America. The vehicle is never again sold in Europe. We are informed that even in the US, the opinion is part. Some vibe the vehicle merits a totally different moniker. Others feel there is sufficient value in the Optima name to keep it. For a few, K5 will summon pictures of the 1969 to 1994 Chevy Blazer that went before the Tahoe. North American administrators have the most clout and an official choice, however the parent organization's naming board of trustees has influence, too, and could choose. It needs harmonization of names all-inclusive. Automakers who decide on alphanumeric names as a rule take a stab at some consistency, however it doesn't generally work. For instance, the Kia K900 was initially expected to be the K9, yet the name was changed in North America, where K9 is a term for a police hound. In any case, the Korean spec K5 that we passed through sold to the Hyundai Kia Motors Namyong Technological Research Center is noteworthy in its development. Much like its Hyundai cousin, the Sonata, the 2011 Optima was a distinct advantage and helped put the brand on purchasers' radars. In any case, the fourth era, presented in the 2016 model year, was a traditionalist invigorate that fell somewhat level. For the fifth era, the 2020 Sonata and 2021 K5/Optima have pulled out all the stops and bodacious once more. The Sonata caused a commotion with its hot lines and creative headlights that reach out up the hood. The K5 doesn't insert lights in the hood, however it introduces what it calls heartbeat lighting at the two parts of the bargains. The term alludes to the spiked bars or squiggles of LED lights that resemble the readout on an EKG pulse screen. In the front, an enormous and emotional whirl encourages into the daytime running lights. The back LEDs give a significantly progressively exact copy of a heartbeat with spikes at each end and a level line in the center that is a progression of runs that develop littler where they meet in the middle. The K5 has the most recent development of Kia's Tiger Nose grille, a solid hood, short shade, more extensive air admissions, and an exquisite side profile with a chrome window line that starts at the A column and runs the length of the vehicle to the spoiler, complementing the fast back outline. Try not to look excessively hard at the back fumes tips, they are just genuine on the GT. In any case, this is as yet the sportiest Kia we have seen to date. Another design conceived the Sonata and now the K5/Optima. Increasingly front-drive fair-size vehicles and hybrids will originate from this stage created under Albert Bierman, head of R&D and testing for the Hyundai Motor Group and the man who has infused execution into the Korea brands. The K5/Optima was structured in view of increasingly forceful variations. It likewise now has all-wheel drive. The 2021 K5 is an inch more extensive, 2.0 inches longer, and 0.8 inch lower than its ancestor. Kia claims its 112.2-inch wheelbase is the longest in the section. It implies sufficient headroom and legroom in both the front and back seats. The stage gives a stiffer body and suspension in a vehicle that has dropped some weight with more noteworthy utilization of high-quality, lightweight steel. The suspension was incredibly sympathetic as proved by the vehicle's capacity to deal with the bunch hindrances in the nation. The desire is the suspension will be taken care of for the US. We can't remark much on the taking care of as our drive time was in overwhelming rush hour gridlock or on throughways without any bends past inclines to survey taking care of or body roll. Be that as it may, Motor Trend's audit of the new Sonata proposes drivers will be pleased. The K5S we drove had 18-inch wheels with Pirelli P0 all-season tires. The US models are required to get 18 and 19-inch wheels with a decision off all-season or summer tires. All around, the K5 will be offered with the new 1.6-liter SmartStream turbocharged i4 and, contingent upon the market, a 2.0-liter normally suction 4-chamber, 2.5-liter turbo, and elite adaptation of the 2.5-liter for the GT. Sonata has the 1.6-liter and the 191 horsepower, 181 pound-to-foot 2.5-liter normally suctioned i4. Korea gets a half and half with the 2.0-liter. Albeit mixture alternatives are accessible, we are told there are no quick plans for a half-breed or module crossbreed for the US, where the Kia Niro fills this hole. We were just ready to drive vehicles with a 1.6-liter that produces 180 horsepower and 195 pounds-to-foot of torque, combined with a new 8-speed program transmission, which is a first for Kia. It demonstrated to be a groundbreaking little combo. Increasing speed was quick and smooth. Changing drive modes didn't create limitlessly various encounters except for sport, which brings a misleadingly upgraded fumes note that increases the volume perceptibly. The overhaul from a 6-speed gave consistent moving, and the vehicle has another rotational dial electronic apparatus move. The K5 in certain business sectors will at present get a 6-speed. The GT, which the US will get later in 2020, will have the elite 2.5-liter SmartStream turbocharged motor that gets 290 horsepower and 310 pound-to-foot of torque and Kia's new 8-speed wet double grip programmed. Kia says the GT will go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 6.6 seconds. The SmartStream motor family will likewise grow to incorporate a 3.5-liter for bigger vehicles. The 1.6-liter will be accessible at dispatch in the US, yet timing of different motors is as yet being resolved for the US. We likewise don't know which motors will have the alternative of AWD. It has not been affirmed that the US models will get AWD, yet we would be stunned on the off chance that it were not accessible given that contenders, for example, the Toyota Camry and Nissan Altima offer it. The 1.6-liter is the main motor with the Korean-created CVVD, which represents constantly factor valve length, and modifies to what extent the valve is open. It made its presentation on the Sonata, and the K5 is the first Kia to consolidate the innovation. Architects state the valve timing of their framework contrasts from others available and can oblige Miller, Atkinson, and Auto Cycles to cover the range from crossovers to turbos. Flawless planning is intended to give high torque when expected to execution just as effectiveness by amplifying efficiency during low RPM driving. The outcome is a 4% improvement in execution and 5% more noteworthy eco-friendliness while diminishing outflows by 12%. One region where we expect improvement when the vehicle comes to showcase in the US is the brakes, which chomp excessively hard, making it practically difficult to apply them tenderly. The K5 has a substantial level bottom guiding wheel, and despite the fact that the directing was consummately satisfactory, this is another territory where we expect further tuning for US models to make it feel considerably progressively exact. Last tuning of the vehicle for this market is being done at Hyundai's demonstrating ground in California. Much care was taken in the inside. The lodge hushes up, with little street commotion sifting in. Material decisions incorporate one of the more pleasant wood trims on a moderate car. The autos we're in had a lodge of two-tone dark and tan calfskin with differentiate soaring. Material will likewise be accessible in the K5. Light bars on the scramble and entryways change shading with drive modes, purple for comfort, green for eco, red for sport, blue for smart. There is likewise a custom drive mode. A reflexive dark fin-like handle close to your fingertips on the armrest is an extra handle to get the entryway. It was somewhat questionable during improvement. Some stressed it would look hot or slam against knees. However, it mixes honestly into the entryway, and my knee leaned easily against it. Our Korea spec vehicle has controls on the front seat so the driver can change it. In some Asian societies it is alluded to as the makeout seat. But don't get excessively energized, it's anything but an element that will make it to North America. The 12.3-inch bunch before the driver has disposition topics that shift with the climate. The foundation was dim during our foggy day of driving yet turned blue when the sun turned out the following day, and it will show showers if it's coming down. It's not known whether the US will get this element. The wide infotainment screen is joined to the instrument bunch, a shape you will find in future Kia models. The bigger 10.25-inch infotainment screen is discretionary. The framework is splendid and instinctive and covers capacities from route and sound system to warming and cooling controls. There is a discretionary 8.0-inch head-up show. Kia deliberately put USB and electrical plugs close to the remote energizing cushion front, and there are more outlets for the back travelers. We were exceptionally engaged by the Korean route framework, which gives a bounty of data. In addition to the fact that it gives bearings complete with which path to be in and up and coming changes and speed limits, yet it likewise cautions of hindrances ahead, advises drivers to remain alert for jaywalkers, and tells drivers of a crash notice zone, which appears to happen when there are various paths or an especially insane crossing point. We additionally got admonitions of falling rocks and notice we were in an untamed life safeguarding region. Apparently the creatures were likewise avoiding the stones. The US will get an alternate route framework, which may be something worth being thankful for, as we were sent to a wrong waypoint and the framework got hung up attempting to recalculate.